Hello, I'm just here to let you know that this video is my own family's opinion on our 5 favorite family films. We are not trying to say which ones are the best ever, just tell you which ones we couldn't stop watching. Hello everybody, I am LazerDude. This is my family. So
remember me, Chris Film Bacon?
Yeah, we'll get to you.
Laser Pubes 99.
All right, dude. I'm gonna cut that out. I'm sure.
Okay, let's start again.
No, we're not starting again.
He's the editor.
This is the family. This is my family. We're showing it all works well. So of course, this right now we're around the time of Canadian Thanksgiving, and we're all together. And I wanted to do
also known as Thanksgiving.
Okay. Alright, so let's just get everyone introduced. This is, of course, my brother Chris, as a lot of you have seen.
Everyone knows me.
What?
Way to come and put a little chip something into this little down review. Here's Johnny.
This is my sister Deanna.
Yeah, you would know me on the review of Beauty and the Beast.
You know,
and he's attacking him with a knife, which I think is actually
the knife.
This is a personal
that's a
attack.
very good
and
point.
then this one,
Ba-bang, ba-bang.
It's just like I don't really care. Actually, at this point, I don't really care. I'm just doing this because I have to, kind of thing.
This is my brother Dustin.
You would know me from
the one time we did an Oscar night at your apartment.
There you go.
Record that. Movies that you guys felt were snubbed?
Interstellar, Nightcrawler.
No,
Nightcrawler was snubbed. Nightcrawler was one of the best films of the year.
Oh yeah, Nightcrawler. I think we all agree that.
we all agree.
Selma and Nightcrawler, I think, are the 2 best films.
Right. And then our oldest sibling, Nicole. We're in order from the oldest to the youngest. And Nicole was also on a lot of our Oscar videos, and she helped Krishna.
I never signed a waiver.
No, you didn't.
You never asked my permission.
Well, if you're gonna be in this room, you're gonna be on film.
I was in this room long before the camera, and your was in here.
Well, I planned this all day. I'm gonna have to bleep that out, you know.
My bad.
So I brought this all together because I wanted to do a video on our top 5 family films. Now I've taken a survey.
This is super weird. Like you're talking to no one.
I know. That's how it works.
You're talking in front of us.
He's talking to either 10 or 10,000 people.
How many subscribers do you have now?
It's about 2,500 something.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you don't have to sound so
What's the
surprised.
percentage of that? Those people that actually watch you.
About like 10%.
10 people?
10%.
Okay, I want to actually just get on with this.
Okay, so I took a survey of what everyone thinks are our top 5 family films, and then I added up the scores of number 1 being worth 5 points for number 2 being worth 4 points, and so on and so forth. And now I've added up all of our scores, and the films with the top scores are going to be on this list, and what we're going to talk about today.
Add side effects. Boom, boom, boom.
There's a flame in my hand.
Number 1.
Can you do that?
What do
You put a flame on your face, that's what I'll do. Number 5. On this list, and the bottom ones were really close. The other ones where we got most of the highest score, but the first ones were there's a lot of really close ones. Number 5 that squeaked in, Homeward Bound.
What? Yeah! That's not right.
I thought about it, but I thought not everyone liked
you
it.
guys, that's not right.
Yeah, it is!
Deanna loved that.
I love that movie. Yeah,
They watched it, but they didn't.
There is a time difference between me and Nicole. There's about 10 years between us. So there are some films that we were watching when we were younger. You guys were, as I said, it just barely squeaked in.
But this,
I did love making
This is
fun
number
of that
5.
film.
This isn't number 1.
Okay, how many times
going to 1?
Rosie O'Donnell is the sassy cat.
No, she's
no.
Whoopi Goldberg.
No.
No, Michael J.
Michael J.
I
Fox
don't even
was.
remember this movie.
Wasn't it? What's her name?
It
Sissy
was
Sal-
with
Sissy
Sassy.
Who voted
I think
Chess?
so. I forget.
We will reveal who voted for what
It was
later.
Sassy
You're wrong.
Chance.
Yeah, okay.
And-
The only ones who voted for this were me and Deanna. Okay.
And you did 5? What did you? How many points did you give this?
This film only got 6 points.
Oh. So someone voted for it.
So that's mid-range for 2 people.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But because this is only a survey poll of 5 people, so there was a few that just squeezed in. But I loved Homeward Bound.
Almost half the
like it.
people voted for it.
Deanna cries every single time.
But that
It's a
movie
very
isn't
much-
about the family. That movie is about Deanna mostly, and you a little bit.
You know how I
And
think
it's about the dogs and,
You know-
and the cat.
And the dog, we have dogs.
This
so
is how I
kinda
think it
like
should have ended. So they the dogs and the cats end up a Chinese food restaurant finds them, and then the kid goes to that Chinese food restaurant and he's like,
Shadow.
That's a horror movie.
Let's try these spring rolls. Taste a little buddy. They taste like my little buddy.
Oh yeah. Can you just see
How many
Disney?
know that they taste
A
like
family picture.
He just felt it. He just felt. He was like, I feel like
Guys,
I'm eating my
alright.
dog.
That would never fly with
The
Disney.
movie had heart. It's great for kids. There is not many animal movies that are this good even today because they all use
Airbud.
Airbud sucks.
Airbud 2 Back in the Habit.
No, just the first Air Bud,
Animals?
forget the rest.
That's what we're animals.
It had a good message.
In terms of live action animal movies, I still think Homeward
Okay.
Bound.
Got a
So
dry
you're
eye
making
in
the grand
the-
assumption that there should be great animal talking movies.
For younger people, yes, and we were kids when we watched it, and we loved it. Moving on.
We is a strong word.
Well, you also had.
Okay, number 4 on the list.
Speaking of dogs,
But ignore the dog.
She's not going to be in
I'm sorry.
She's moving on.
If only she would say something sassy.
Yeah.
Oh, brother.
Like,
voiceover.
Homeward Bound sucks.
Translate. Subtitles at the bottom. Translate what she's saying.
It's unrealistic. It's unrealistic.
Okay, number 4.
1,000 miles.
Okay, we're all gonna agree on this one, okay?
Okay.
I guarantee.
Number 4.
Number 4 on our top 5 family films is It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay, yes, I agreed.
That was I think that movie we all. Nicole has a shocked look on her face because she didn't vote for it.
I didn't vote for it either.
No, this
I
is
forgot.
on. This is on the list to Dustin and Chris both voting.
Man, I dropped the
Though
ball.
we were older when
We all saw
Yes.
would
Yeah.
watch it together.
I was
We
actually
weren't
the first
kids.
one that ever saw it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you were.
because you were a Jimmy Stewart fanatic.
Yes.
But wasn't
Yes,
that
it
a
was.
what? Wasn't that?
It's because of you that we watched
I-
Bill
I remember- I remember this very well. Mom and Dad were in the kitchen playing cards, I think by themselves or with a neighbor, and I was by myself in the living room, and it was on TV, and I watched it, and I'm like,
Really?
this is the most amazing thing ever.
Because I thought it was
And I
on
kept-
TV, but us kids didn't have
No,
anything
I was
to do.
alone.
And
then
this
I'd
was
be
at
going
Grand's
into
house.
the kitchen, I'd be like every
Yeah.
commercial, be like, this is such an amazing movie.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh yeah.
Every-
but I was like blown away.
Yeah.
You
I
know
feel-
what's interesting? Sorry, Dustin.
go ahead.
I was saying it's actually interesting when you learn about Jimmy Stewart. He was such a fascinating man outside the movie. Like he was one of the few Americans to fight in the Second World War. Like he just Hollywood, not
Sorry.
Americans, but a few actors. Like he said he was. So his whole life.
John Wayne didn't fight in the war.
His whole
Those
life is a
tough
fascinating
guys.
story. So I get, once I know his background, I connect more to that movie than...
I think that the thing that I remember as a kid, I didn't think it was a Christmas movie. Because when you think about when you're kids, Christmas movies are movies that happen on Christmas throughout it. This was the story of one guy's life, his entire life, and it wasn't Christmas till the end. So it didn't click on me. Yeah, the beginning and the end. But it didn't click in my mind that it was a Christmas movie till much later. We're like, oh, let's put on a Christmas movie. It's a Wonderful Life. I'm like, that's a Christmas movie?
But that's a really weird, like, social, like, culture thing.
Yeah.
'Cause also now, that Sound of Music song is a Christmas song.
Which, that you're
Which
right.
one?
Only because it mentions one line.
Oh.
My favorite thing.
Yeah.
Where that never used to be a Christmas song, and then it just all of a sudden became.
Oh, and it worked. No, it's all. That's a Christmas song because it works really well for a toy or Walmart commercial. Oh, these sales! Oh, these are a few of my favorite things.
That song was written for Oprah, right? Yeah. But no, but I think It's a Wonderful Life works as a Christmas film because, like, I think just like September is one of those times of years, and then Christmas into the New Year, there are times where you evaluate your life, where you think, okay, that was last year.
Recheck.
What am I doing this year? You know. So I think it fits.
And that's why we watched it. Like, I remember watching it like in the summertime, and it was almost like one of those things that you when you watch it, you're visiting with these people again, these characters all over again. So in a sense, we liked watching it anytime, and that's why for myself is I think we've seen it way too many times.
Chris will still not see this. We had an opportunity to see this in a theater. And Chris skipped out on it. He was like, no, he didn't. He skipped out. But remember how many more things we saw? Like the skull on Potter's desk.
It was 1,000 times better on screen.
On the big screen.
Yeah.
Insane.
And that theater was very tiny. It wasn't that big of a screen, but it was big enough that we got a larger scope into the movie.
Yeah, there was a lot more background detail that you saw when it was on the screen.
Well, I should have seen it. But
The thing that I love is that Jimmy Stewart said it was their favorite film they've ever worked on before it was a famous film. Because remember, it bombed at the box office and didn't become a Christmas classic till after they put it for free on Domain, and people just put it because
they forgot to renew the copyright.
So people would just put it on their television stations because they could get it for free.
Much like another film I think is coming out.
okay.
But anyways, I was going to say It's a Wonderful Life is like that's because I feel like there's a lot of people in the world that the reality things is that classic films. There's a lot of great classic films. There's a lot of crappy classic films. And there's a lot of great color films and new films. And there's a lot of crappy color films and new films.
Yeah.
And but I think there is this idea out there that classic films are boring and they're dumb and they're not funny and
they're not written well.
Yeah, and then I think It's a Wonderful Life. If you know someone who has a prejudice against classic films, you show them It's a Wonderful Life. It's just like how is this so good? This is like like you're laughing. It's like the story's amazing.
You know,
I think people look at classic films.
Story,
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say the story I think is well written, but I think the actors who they got, even the side actors, like you see, like the two guys who open the pool up, like they're just the facial expressions.
How are we not quoting this movie? Sorry.
Because no one's gonna enjoy it. I mean, I wanted to a couple times. I wanted to be like, hey, brainless, where do you think coconuts come from?
From Tahiti. La la.
But George
Bailey, I love you till we dead.
I'm gonna go exploring someday. Have a harem. Maybe 3 or 4 wives.
No one wants to watch people quote films.
I can just watch it.
I love the actors, every single one of them. I think they bring the personality. I think one of my favorite actors is Mr. Potter because he is a great Mr. Potter. Like you don't
think of classic films of having good villains.
No, and the thing is, you never see him get his comeuppance. You never see him his heart change. He's still the grumpy old man, right? And yet you see at the end of the movie that George Bailey's a lot more richer than he is. Yeah. Right? Because
I think that the thing that makes it so good is you get every now and then you get these type of movies that are just no matter what time period they're in, they're timeless because of the question they ask. Back to the Future is this type of film. What would it be like if I hung out with my parents when they were my age? That's a question that no matter what time you were born in, it's an interesting question to think about. The Wonderful Life asks, what would happen if I was never born? And that's a question that no matter where you are, that is something that everyone at least has thought
I think that's the least interesting part of the film. Him
because that's more of the climax.
I think that is one of the questions, but I think even a more important question is what is true riches?
What's true joy?
Yeah, that's a cliche.
It's like I love
cliches can be great if they are handled well.
I love films that tell a story of a life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a sucker for those films. I instead of just telling one little piece of, like, even if it's a fictional life, I love those films.
and his life, like, the thing is,
He
in
didn't
this
get
movie,
what
you
he
walk
wanted.
through and you see the people, even when he doesn't get it, you see the people he impacts, right? I love his relationship with his mom, with his brother, with his dad, that moment.
And there is chemistry between Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed.
Oh, totally.
They have some of the best. And before we just make this a wonderful, like, gushing on video, it's time to move on to the next one on the list.
Yeah, Chris said nothing.
No, I will say that
comment.
every director has probably seen this and has drawn inspiration for their story writing. Like I'm sure if you talk to any famous directors, they'll say, "Oh, It's a Wonderful Life kind of paved the way for my ideas of stories," right? But anyways, let's move on.
Number 3 and number 2.
We have something interesting. We have a tie.
What?
For third.
No, because we got to decide. We don't have any actual ties here. We have to decide what is third and what is second.
So we play a game to the death.
No, we debate.
What?
And
Have we
whatever
ever
Kenneth
agreed on
thinks,
something
whatever
with
Kenneth
debating?
thinks is the winner.
No, I think we'll be able to come to an agreement on this.
Okay, you're.
At number 2 and 3, we have both Hook
I didn't even
and
put that down.
Princess Bride.
No.
Oh,
I can't even agree between the two.
no. Those,
No?
Well, I mean, I'd
They're
go
just-
more Princess Bride, but I think both have a case.
I think
There's one I like more than the other.
right.
I like Hook more.
But
than
I know one influenced the family more than the
Yeah,
other.
here's the thing. We rented Princess Bride
A
like
million
a
zillion
million
times.
times.
Yeah.
We rented
I
Hook
remember that, yeah.
every now and then, but every time we went to the video rental store and we couldn't decide on what to rent, we'd rent Princess
I
Bride.
remember renting that a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if we agree,
That's the movie I would. Sorry.
That's the movie you was. But then, I think
That
what-
wasn't great when it came out, but later it got big.
Yeah?
Because
Yeah.
when it first came out, it was like a flop.
the thing is, I remember seeing it even when Dad would go to the library and he'd rent it and he'd bring it home
Yeah.
a whole bunch of times, and we'd always watch it even if we've seen it. Like it wasn't one of those movies, Princess Bride, where it was like, oh, really this again? It was just we would always just want to watch it again.
It was always
But
fresh.
I have
But
to
we
say,
watched it too many
Hook,
times.
The thing is, both of those movies are totally different type of movies, but they're both kind of similar in the sense of the adventure part, and I think they're both really well done.
Hook is a funnier film. Hook is, when it comes.
Hook is number 4 in
Like-
my
like-
top
Princess
Like-
Bride has a lot of funny
Yeah.
lines.
Yes, that's true. That is true.
I just rewatched it like a couple weeks ago, and it's got like I laughed like a lot. Like there's a lot of like adult humor in it that I didn't really notice at the time. Like when she's about to stab herself, and he says it'd be horrible to run such a.
There are short of a perfect breast in the world. It'd be a pity to damage yours.
Plus, I didn't realize it, but I'm watching it. I'm like, she looks familiar. Oh my goodness, that's Claire from House of Cards.
Yeah.
That's who she is. I was like,
Oh,
what?
I didn't even realize
Oh
that.
yeah, and I was like, it's so weird seeing you so nice. I just want you to destroy someone.
Yeah.
I like Hook. I think it's because to me it's about this. To me it's about
Growing
family. What is family, right? But more importantly, about this man who's so stuck in this business world that it takes.
a toll on his family.
I think that the thing that only why I think Princess Bride is over Hook in my mind is Hook's story of the character arc of Peter is pretty. There was a lot of movies about dads who didn't have time for their families around that time.
The book is amazing. If you read it, like honestly, it's one of the best books ever.
I heard that they followed really closely. Like they didn't really change too much.
No, it's super different.
It's well, it isn't. Isn't? Did you read it?
No, but someone walked me through it the other day.
Okay, it's everything in the movie plus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's from William Golding's.
Because the character is like he skips over stuff. And I remember I was hearing a guy who did a review on it, and he's like, the character skips over stuff, and I heard people complain. He's like, well, I wanted to know what happens. Like, no, he didn't write anything. He's not actually skipping stuff. This is how he wanted the story to be.
See, that's okay. So
the book is.
So let's explain this because it's being confusing. So
it's super confusing.
The book is. If you open the book, you'll read what you'll think is the author talking about finding this book called The Princess Bride.
Yes.
And how he gives it to he's kind of like the dad in Hook, where he's not around his kids all the time, and then he gives it to his son, but his son's not into it, and he's like, why is my son not into it? And then he decides that he's going to kind of tell the story and like take out the boring parts, and then the boring parts he's leaving out, was never actually written. Because it's
an ingenious way to actually skip over exposition, because you can have a character who's pretending to tell a story actually just outright explain it rather than having the characters.
This is such a confusing book to explain.
But
we're talking about the movie, though.
The movie had little attributes of that. You know how the grandfather sets up what could be in it?
No, it isn't.
And then he's like, oh, that didn't actually happen. You know, certain things.
So
it's
are
like
we
this fake world.
So are we in agreement that Hook is number?
Okay.
Hook is number 3 and Princess Bride is number 2.
No, you're getting confused with. Okay, Princess Bride I think is a better movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's not the point here. The point
is. But that's why I think Princess Bride is number 2 in this list, because in my mind we rented it all the time. Hook. We rented every now. But Princess Bride. Chris, if I said right now, would you watch Princess Bride?
No, I can't.
But if I said right now, would you watch Hook with me?
Yes.
And that's the sign of which ones we've watched more.
Yes, because I've seen it.
So should we vote?
Okay, who would say Hook was our number 2 family film of it all time over Princess Bride?
No.
Raise your hand.
Okay, I guess.
Who says Princess Bride is the number 2 over Hook? Okay, but I think we've only talked about Princess Bride in this part. So, what was the things about Hook that was so great?
The fantasy.
Roofie.
Okay. One other thing is Princess Bride really. I mean, now it travels well as a time.
Yeah.
Like now, it's still a great movie. Hook's a little dated.
Well, with the kids dressing up and all the things and fighting the pirates.
Kids.
So, like, why aren't the pirates using these swords?
Yeah. But it's still.
But I will say, what got me about Hook was just the fantasy element of it. You have a modern day thing, and yes, they've mixed those, in a lot of the other fantasy movies nowadays. But you go from, it's almost like you're stuck into this period where he's grown up. And then the movie is slowly pulling you in. It's saying, remember those good old days when you were flying?
And
then the music that pulls you in, and he says this, and the lady opens the book and says, this is who you were.
Oh, the music was really good.
I want to direct that scene. That's how bad I love that scene.
I think the thing that really made me love it is because as a kid, we didn't have many, what happened next?
Yeah.
We see the Disney animated Peter Pan story, but nobody ever asked the question, what happened next? Now we have prequels and other sequels happening 10 years later all the time.
Yeah.
But then it was like, wait, we can see what happens next? And in live action?
Yeah.
And Dustin Hoffman was so good.
I want to see Sleeping Beauty and Prince Charming's divorce. It gets really messy.
You're just sitting around the house laying down all the time.
I get the owls. I get the chipmunks.
I would like to say though that it is a fascinating concept. Why, what if Peter Pan didn't go back to Neverland? Someone took the idea of Peter Pan. Yeah, what if he grew up? What if he chose to stay and because of Wendy, right? And if he forgot, right? And it's an interesting concept because it's I don't think at the time, I've never seen a Peter Pan movie do that type of concept since, where it's, okay, this is what happened. I also love, honestly, Dustin Hoffman for Hook. He is...
Don't stop me this time, Smee. Smee, don't try to stop me this time, Smee. Smee, try to stop me.
You better get over it.
Get over it right now. I
was named after that guy.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, honestly, I mean, it's Dustin Hoffman, but like he and the guy who plays Smee and Robin Williams, like
Bob
they are funny.
Yeah,
They're really funny. I actually laughed quite a bit in that movie.
The adventureness of it is fully there. You feel like you're on.
One thing I wish though that they would have delved in more about Hook, because it's just like you hear a little bit like you know he lost his arm, but it's just like his hand. Because
I think they
spent a weird ending too. Like he just eaten by that.
Here's the thing: I would love to do a top 10 list of top 10 endings that make no sense, but I love anyway. So wait, the crocodile was just playing dead the whole time, and when he gets bumped into the Hook's and so he just falls on top of him.
It was a burping sound.
That's a burp. He was alive the whole time.
No,
it's so weird.
It's a mystical thing.
It is a mystical thing. It's like
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Even in that mystical realm, it's like it's still a corpse. It's a taxidermy.
I know.
But you know what it is? You just it's like one of those things you want to happen.
Yes,
So
it's wish fulfillment.
You suspend the belief.
Yeah, you're like, I want him
He
to be
needs to go away. So like, let's just
and the thing is,
And only Spielberg knew how to do that.
The only thing is, as a kid though, I never questioned it. Oh yeah, he's you crocodile.
But then, if he went up in the stomach and the crocodile's dead, couldn't they just get him out? Because he already punched through the crocodile.
Right.
But there was the burp. Otherwise,
the burp means death.
The burp means he's gone. If there hadn't been a burp, he was just like, get me out of here!
Maybe there's a portal in the alligator's mouth.
He's in Neverland.
Sends him to
Well, originally, they ran out of money for the budget. They were going to have it animatronic, like a Jaws type crocodile, and it came to life and moved, and then it was going to actually chew on him for a little bit.
Been worse.
But it would have given it a PG-13.
I feel like that would have been a lot worse.
Yeah,
you know, I feel like that.
They could have just had him crush it.
See,
I don't know what the original plan was. I'm just kidding.
See, because the thing is,
I
want to say one thing about this movie.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I feel like it was really good for kids, and I feel like it was really good for adults. I think there's lessons to be learned.
Yeah,
for both.
absolutely.
I think it was a family movie. It was a really good family movie.
It feeds into like the male, like there's a male line of like thinking that says like, you know, as men get older, there's this male line of thinking that says, hey, your life used to be so awesome.
Yeah.
It's not. You know, and it's like, it probably wasn't that awesome.
But even something so core to who you are and something so completely consuming can be completely gone, and you don't even remember it.
And the thing
that's truth.
I think too, like
change is inevitable.
I think too, they try and get him to be like, it's okay to have like, because he's like, they portray him as a stern like no real fun, and you know, in some sense they're saying it's okay to have fun, to still have that inner child in you, and play and be fun, and as adults that's actually should
why
healthy.
the line "You're playing with us, Peter" comes in.
Yeah,
where he actually makes the food show up. You remember that scene?
That I had no idea what that meant as a kid.
Playing with us, Peter.
Yeah.
Oh, Rufio.
You know, it's a fun thing to touch someone's face and then say,
"Oh, there you are," and that's how you got lost.
That was fun.
I gotta say though, those kids were pretty good. Like
they probably were the greatest actors, but you enjoyed them.
I can still recognize Rufio. Like I've seen him.
Well, Dante Bosco, he doesn't look any different. Like he's doing a lot of voice acting these days, and he's really good.
He's like they recognize.
But he still sounds like this.
But I saw him, so I'm like Rufio.
Although every time he's like, you know what? I wish I had a dad like you. Negligent? Okay, I'll just leave your corpse here. Go away.
Well, actually, he's in that dance show with and.
Oh, he was in like one movie.
Anyway, but he still looks like he's a teenager, and he's in like his 30s, 40s, something. But do we need to say anything else about the Princess Bride?
No, we're good.
Here are the honorable mentions.
Okay, before we get to our number 1, I'm going to talk about other ones that got points from our list but did not make it on the list.
Darn.
There are 2 ones that only got 1 point. This is 40, which I think Nicole just put on to spite us.
Never.
That is a family movie.
Remove
We
it.
watched it once.
Yes.
2 people.
I almost
Two
put it on
people.
too.
Had
I
a
almost put it on
strong
too.
impact on our family.
It's supposed to be when we grew up with
negative
it, not when we were
You
all...
still feel
Hey,
the
you-
vibration.
We didn't grow up with it, so it went full
I
line.
know.
Okay.
We still fight about it. That's the point. It
Next,
has a very huge impact on our
Just
family.
keep going.
next movie with only 1 point, Harvey. Dustin put on Harvey, the one about the invisible
Why
rat.
does it
I
say
watched it once and it was weird.
Why is it only at 1 point?
What?
I gave this is 45 points.
No, you didn't. You put it at number 5, which is at 1 point.
Did I do it wrong?
Yeah.
It's not my
That
problem if
movie
you did it wrong. It's okay, you put another one that
don't do
nobody
that
will.
shit.
No, you can't watch it. You can't look at it yet.
Oh wait, Harvey?
Harvey,
Actually,
the one
I
about-
like that one.
Yeah, I saw it like once though.
This is a great film.
Yes.
I think about it. I think about it all the time.
All right,
So,
next we have a
did
bunch.
You give me a pet rabbit, Harvey?
Next we have a bunch that are number 3. And number
That's what
3
you think.
are 3 points. Chris put on The Majestic.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
I was
a
gone.
family film.
Yeah, that's.
I know. It was like
And then I watched it once and I didn't like it.
I was contemplating because it was like you were the only one that didn't get involved in the Majestic loop, but everyone else, like Mom, Dad, Dustin, Deanna.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry.
Back to the Future 2 was on Dustin's list.
That's
Yeah.
a classic.
Yeah.
But I struggled even putting them on because I was like, oh, the whole trilogy was, and I wasn't
Yeah.
gonna write them all.
That was
down.
the one that CBC would always put on at around Christmas time, though.
And we always loved it because as a kid, I liked the second one better
Yeah.
because of the hoverboards.
You know,
Oh,
believe
me
it or
too.
not,
That's
I
the
like
first
the
one we
third one.
saw.
It's my favorite.
Let's see, was there another one? Oh yes, there was another one with 3 points. This was on my list, Jumanji.
Yes. See, that's my number
Didn't you
3.
cry when you saw it in the theaters?
Chris
We
made a
didn't see
Jumanji
it.
T-shirt of his own.
I love Jumanji, but as kids,
Are
we
you
were
looking forward-
terrified.
are you looking forward to
That's
the
a
new
good
one?
thing.
Huh?
You're looking forward to the new one?
No,
No, I won't see it.
Why not?
it looks like
Because
garbage.
they didn't do it justice. They should have had.
Nobody went back at the one. This is like Jumanji, right? This is Jumanji.
They should have had me direct it because I would have tossed
Stupid.
that script. And actually, no, I wouldn't have even tossed the script. I would have been like, okay, actors,
Are you judging something before you've seen it?
forget the script.
Yeah.
I'll see it and do a horrible
Just
review
do
on
what
it.
I say. I'll
heard
give
it
you
here
the lines to
If you're
say.
only-
This
If
is
it's
the
bad.
movie.
Oh, okay. Good.
I'm just barely certain of myself. Next on, we have 3 movies that got 4 points but did not make the list. On Chris's list, Toy Story.
Yeah, Toy Story.
I think that one.
Come on, we all went to see it twice. I thought.
Well, I remember it being like really hyped because Dustin was the first one to tell us about it. Like we didn't see the trailer, and so we were just waiting for Dad, and you just told us the whole thing like in the van. You're like, so there's toys, right? They come alive, but we didn't see any trailers going in, and that was the first time we saw CGI animation. We were really like impressed. We didn't know what to make of it. That was the first time, that it was used in animation.
You know
Okay.
what? I don't know if that would be considered a family show, because I think a family show, what we would consider a family show, would have had impact on all of us.
Okay, fine. Let's
Speaking
move
of
on.
that, let's go to one that I don't know who else has seen this besides Nicole. She's the Man.
I have seen
We
it.
did.
Yeah, that's
But-
a good one.
Really?
I came.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Well, wait
I
a
think I
second.
started watching, but I left.
How would that be a family movie? We didn't watch
I
it with
see
Mom and
it?
Dad.
We did.
We watched it, Mom and Dad. It was like one of the only films like Mom and Dad that we liked. Mom and Dad liked.
I came to
Really?
visit
No, I
once.
didn't
and
It's a
we
good movie.
watched it.
What's
and
it about?
We laughed our
A
asses
girl
off.
that dresses up like a guy so she can get into university.
Well, no, because she takes her brother's spot, so you won't get flunked out, right?
Right,
I didn't
soccer
see it,
university.
but I saw the trailer.
You did see it. 'Cause
I
we-
did not.
Yes, you did.
She has to act
I don't
like a
remember
guy.
it then. Like, I only remember the trailer. Where it's like someone kicks a soccer ball in her crotch and she's like, oh, I'm in pain.
What?
Okay.
I know, but
It was. I very vividly remember.
All right.
I am 90% sure I haven't seen it.
Alright.
Moving on.
The last 4-pointer.
Kate. Is it 2 words? Homeward Bound.
We watched it a lot. Like we did.
Yeah, Jen.
Look,
All right, what's next?
the last number 4 pointer before we get to number 1 is the Neverending Story.
Oh yeah.
I do remember getting that
Watched that
and
a lot.
watching
We
it.
rented that from the library.
You do realize I
Yes.
said she's a man and I meant that to be a 2 or a 1, not a 4.
It said 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, and then it had points.
No, I said
Oh, yeah,
minus,
yeah,
minus
yeah,
1,
yeah.
minus 2, minus 3, minus 2.
That wasn't a minus, it was a dash.
Oh.
But it's okay. It's okay. The right ones got on the list. Anyways.
Yeah, I think that's a great fantasy movie.
Neverending Story.
The thing is, it's a great movie, and then they ruined it by making a second one.
Well, you don't
no,
have to worry
Ruined the
about that.
first
Yes,
movie,
you
but
just
making a
ignore the
second.
second one. That's what you do.
Ignore it.
I don't know. The second one had Jonathan Brandis. He's a
I
great-
had such
Great
a crush.
actor.
Oh, I forgot.
That's why we watched that.
I had
Okay.
such a crush on him. He killed himself.
I know.
I felt really bad about that.
It's
He was like adored. He was adored. For
but you
like-
know that does happen.
I know, and then it was just next.
But Neverending Story, I thought was really
Okay.
good because the angles that they took with their thing, they got so many cheats away by just using angles, and because of that, it doesn't look fake.
Yeah,
you know,
the
you go
storm
back.
is real. The
You go
nothing-
back to like Gulliver's Travels, and it's good, but like you can tell that they're using outdated effects or whatnot. But Neverending Story still looks very seamless because they're using trick camera.
Here's my question. Didn't he, by going into that land, affect it, and then all of a sudden he needed to save... I didn't, as a kid, I never really quite understood the story, but I liked the
Well, it was Neverending. That's what I'm talking
dragon dog thingy that he...
Falcor.
Yeah, Falcor.
Do you guys remember Flight of the Navigator?
about. I do.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That might have
That's a
been
good
if I
choice.
watched it
I
more.
feel like that was probably more of a...
But that one was on the Disney Channel. We never owned it. We might have rented it once
yeah,
or
we
twice.
would have we would have seen it.
Because
on
remember Disney had
Night.
Disney Night.
Can I ask you? Did you get? Because I've only
Wonderful
seen
World
it
of Disney,
a
so
few
yeah.
times. Was Flight of the
That's
Navigator? Was it more impactful if you had a brother? Like if you were watching it and you had you.
Well, I
I'm just
definitely saw it
saying.
without a brother.
Was it about the kid not liking his younger brother because he always nagged on him and?
That was
Part of it.
that was-
And then he's away
I actually
from
don't
all
remember
of his.
seeing that movie.
It's the one where the kid
'Cause that's
he
what
gets
I
knocked
really
out and all of a sudden
watched.
it's like 20
We
years
did
later
watch
and
that
he's
a
still a kid.
lot.
That
And then he
everyone else
misses
has grown up.
them at the end of the movie.
And then he gets
gives
into
them
a
a big
spaceship
hug.
and flies around.
We watched it a lot.
I don't remember.
It's downstairs. We own it
He
now.
was in a...
Okay,
I forget
so
the actor.
now it's time for the reveal that will probably surprise no one in this room.
Of what?
The number 1 Velo family film.
Oh, that's easy.
And our number 1 family film of all time is
It's
The Great Race.
It's the Great
The
Race.
Oh,
Great
wait.
The Great Race
Race.
was the only movie that every one of
Yeah,
us
the
voted
Great
for.
Race.
That was obviously.
2
I
of
think
us had
people-
it at number 1.
I think
3
people
people
are
had
gonna
it in
be
the middle.
surprised because it's not that well known of a movie.
No, it isn't. But this
Old
was
movie,
one of
but great
Dad's
movie.
favorites.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, it's a movie about just these 2 guys. One's an eccentric madman who's always Daredevil, who's always trying to outdo this nicely clean cut, always just better than him Daredevil. And then they go on a race around from New York to Paris, and hijinks ensue all the way.
And you know what?
It's almost
It's
like
actually
it could
quite-
be a cartoon.
It actually is written
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
I mean, Professor Fate is Daffy Duck to
Bugs Bunny?
No, yeah, Bugs Bunny is Leslie. Everything goes right for Bugs Bunny, and Daffy's like, oh yeah, you know, he's all. pissed
I
off
always
and
thought
everything.
Professor Pete was Wile E. Coyote.
But Wiley's
In some ways.
Daffy's always pissed
Yeah.
off. Where Daffy's always pissed off. Where
Yeah.
Wile E. Coyote's always super confident, and then it blows up in his face.
Okay.
Where Daffy's always just mad that this guy's getting all the
He's
credit.
confident.
I wanted to say something.
Yeah, but he's more.
But
Yeah.
to whoever's watching this, so it's a classic film, but I think it was made probably in the 60s. It's
Yeah.
color.
Yeah.
And it's color.
And but it's a
it's
classic
color.
film. We got all these classic film
It was
film
right
actors.
before the
Natalie Wood.
women.
We got all these classic film actors in it. We got Jack Lemmon, We got Natalie Wood. It was one of her last films before she was murdered.
Yeah,
That's right, I said it.
She was murdered by who?
By, what's his name? Roger or something?
It wasn't her husband.
By Christopher
Okay, this is
Walken.
about family films.
Christopher
Guys,
Walken.
Guys, I saw the documentary too, and it wasn't very clear.
Okay, it was a great race here, people.
Hey, it's got Natalie Wood and Tony
I thought it was
Tony
her
Curtis.
What
husband
about
that
it?
did
You're
it.
forgetting Max.
Nicole. I thought
Oh,
it was
Max,
her
yeah.
husband that did it.
Columbo.
What's his name?
Shoot! Why am I forgetting his name?
No!
It's
I'm not saying it was Christopher Walken, but he was
in
boat.
Princess Bride too,
He was on the
guys.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken was not on the boat.
He was on the boat. I watched
the dude with the accent.
Yeah,
Do the
I watched a
accent.
true crime.
Walken.
I watched a true crime thing on this very case like a week ago.
I didn't do it.
I saw Natalie Wood's documentary.
He wasn't the one that killed him.
Wait, the movie I love because
You're gonna have to edit this out.
the movie I love
Yes.
because, and I think my favorite movie is Max.
Walken was.
I mean, my
Played
favorite
by-
character.
Peter Falk.
Peter Falk. And honestly, Peter Falk is an absolute genius. If you ever seen
Had
him,
the energy.
if you
in this
have
movie.
ever seen him in Columbo, like that went on, like that TV show went on for like 12 seasons or whatever, but he is an absolute genius.
Yes.
And how he takes like his like comic relief, his just everything is amazing. But they're all like really.
The thing that makes the Great Race so funny, and I'll give you a tip is that, but is it because it's like multiple movies in one?
Yeah.
Because the rest, the race, it goes through a western, it goes through a night
It's a
film,
western
a
film.
pie fight,
Yeah.
a sword
Slapstick.
fight, slapstick.
Yeah.
They're a survival movie because they're stranded on. And the greatest pie fight in movie history.
Yeah.
For sure.
The
Well,
entire,
pastry and pastry.
right, they're mostly pie.
Which, can I just say, is actually the fact that, like, we're on the iceberg and it broke, and then, like,
Okay.
it's virtually impossible
It
that we
is.
got back to land. Like, come on.
My apologies. There's a polar bear in our car.
It is a cartoon, yeah.
Although, if you are interested about this movie, I must warn you, plan ahead, because this is a long movie.
2 hours.
There is an interlude. There is an actual interlude in
Yeah,
between this
but
movie.
by today's standards, it's so long.
I don't remember it being that long.
You have to fast forward if you want to get through the songs. The background
Okay,
songs.
Natalie Wood is gorgeous.
Citizens
She's
of
the best
the
dresses.
Show! Sorry, go ahead.
Natalie Wood has the best open
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Her hat.
Like, I love
her umbrella.
she keeps on handcuffing herself and other people to things because I love how she's like, well, I guess I'll just have to go back to will you wake me on the train? And then
Hezekiah.
Hezekiah is like, that double crossing female, hey boss. She plays him at everybody at every turn just to get to the end of the race, and then
And she did all that before she was murdered!
I love the scene where when Tony Curtis's character, the great Leslie, finally admits to himself that he has feelings for her,
Yeah.
so he kisses her. Then she slaps him in the face and runs away. He's like,
No, I think she kisses him out.
no, she slaps him and runs away because he has to give up the race in the end for.
That's right.
But he was like, what? I mean, I'm doing. She talks about sex all the time, and then what?
Okay, we need to say our favorite, scenes.
Favorite scene. Let's see, Max. My favorite part is Max taking control of the entire movie. He breaks out Great Leslie. He takes the Hannibal Twin 8, which is an amazing car, and rounds out all of the Duke's
Takes out all the
troops.
guards.
And then he sneaks under the professor's robe. He's like, Professor, the jig is up! And then they run. He's like, come on, I gotta go find the professor. I mean, because Max was my favorite character, and in the moment where they had that amazing sound effect, that boom, where he smacks people, is like,
I mean, we would hit people over the head
the bar.
Really gently.
It's like, I'm here to see the great Leslie. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, he's not allowed visitors. I understand. Bless you, my son. Boom, smacks him. Your favorite.
As a kid, I always loved where Max helps Leslie break in.
Mm-hmm.
He has to use the rope. He has to, he gets into a sword fight. So the sword fight was probably one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other genre.
And I just love that whole leading up. They have to,
yes,
you know, and then Max has to turn on them, of course, and he's firing the cannon at the great the white car. I forget his name.
Oh yeah, like they're finally driving to get to them after Max turns on him and shoots the Leslie special.
I have two favorite parts, but I think because the whole movie they played up that Leslie's like in white clothes, he never gets dirty. I mean, like you never white is always dirty. You never get dirty, and then that pie fight, and then you just see him and he gets it right in the face.
Well, and before he's just walking through and everyone's getting drenched and he's like,
just fine.
and then he finds it, and who is it but Natalie Wood?
She doesn't even mean to, because she's like...
I love it because it's symbolic, like she's the only one that can get him messy.
Yeah, and so I love that part. I also like how it's like at the end they're almost finished the race and they're arguing in the car and then they stop and they like kiss and the professor he's like I won and you let me win.
I hate you.
And then Leslie's like
I hate.
Just the opposite of Cars.
And then
I challenge you to another race.
But my favorite line is Leslie breaks the kiss and says, "Get off my car!
Get off my hood!
Another race."
Okay, Dustin.
Well, I think we mentioned most of the good parts, but a couple that we didn't. I thought it was interesting. Like a lot of the story is told around this newspaper that Natalie
just get the part.
Works at.
Just get the part.
And the editor's wife is like one of the leaders in the suffragette movement, and so there's all this and the suffragettes are protesting the newspaper, and so she'll be like linked arms with her lady suffragettes like in the hallway, and she'll be like, "We won't move until you drag us out with billy clubs." And then he's like 5 o'clock for supper. It's like 5:30.
Or the scene where she does get arrested. He's like, "We know her, then arrest us." And she's like, "I want you to go out and bail out Mrs. Brigsby in about 2 hours."
And then she's up in his door and he opens the door and she's like, "Oh, sorry, dear." And he kind of pushes her up and
she slaps the door. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Also, I really there's at the end of the swashbuckling scene, the villain gives up and he says some line about like,
"He who fights and runs away must live to fight another day."
And then he dives out of it's gonna be like this awesome stunt, and he dives out of like this window into like the water and the moat below, and he dives like headfirst into a boat. This guy's rowing.
No, the boat was waiting for him.
Yeah. But he jumps right into it. I love how they don't show his character again. They don't do any silly comedy. It's just like, he got knocked out and drowned, but that's just what you know. But
I think there's even a shot of the guy in the boat rowing. He just like sinks slowly. He doesn't even swim away.
Nicole.
I really like the western part.
Let me get me by some fighting room.
Yeah, she's wearing an amazing dress. There's a cool song.
Yes,
and then you kind of see I don't know. There's just this thing between women.
She's singing her song and she's just smacking her in the face with her boa.
Lily?
Yeah, Lily Tremaine.
And she's in this beautiful
Lily Olay.
But like Natalie was just kind of above it or whatever, and then I think she finally.
In the fight scene, after her camera's broken, she's all mad and stuff, and then she sees her like fighting, so she kicks her in the back of the leg and she falls over. Just a little moment of spider.
Yeah.
My favorite.
She holds it for like so long, right? Because she knows she's above it, but then it's like.
My favorite line though is in that. I've always found it so funny. Leslie says to her, "Are you a native of Baracho?" He's like, "I ain't no native, I was born here."
She's a great character. And then her husband's like this little...
He doesn't even draw his own guns. The guy behind him draws them before
Fiddly dee!
And it's one of the few times that Max actually gets the upper hand. That Max and Fate...
because they blow up the gasoline.
And then also, It's one of the few times where Natalie Wood's character, who I totally forgot, she doesn't
Oh, she's
win. They find her in the back of the car
and they kick her out. Yeah.
So it's like it was this moment where everything wasn't quite as it had been.
One thing about this movie too, because they're saying it's from what? Where's the race from?
Miss
Paris.
Dubois, that's her name.
From Paris
No,
to
it starts in New York.
New York
It ends
to
in Paris. It
Okay.
ends in Paris.
But yet, it feels like the countries they go through is almost.
Why do they have to go through the
Why does it
Arctic?
start in New York? Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
It doesn't make
That's
sense. That's
okay.
the joke.
Yeah.
Because they ride an iceberg over from
Because I
Africa
keep
to
asking-
Russia.
They go from Alaska. Maybe.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
the other way around.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No,
I
asked.
sense.
They go
I
from
think
New York, go all the way
It's
up
not
to
really
Alaska,
good to
through
Japan.
Russia.
Well, I was
Russia,
waiting
then
for
all the way
Canada to
Paris.
show up, and Canada just doesn't
That's
show
sort
up.
of the long way around it.
Wait. Yeah, but if you start in New York, you don't have to go to the west.
I think they
If
must.
you start
they
in New
must
York, you
go-
have
they
to go
must
through Canada.
Because they go
But
through.
do they have to go like through Texas
They go
or
through the
where?
Midwest.
Well,
Then you never make it.
It
You've
doesn't
been in
make- It doesn't make
Africa.
sense because they don't go through Asia.
Yes. The point is, it
They're
really
only there
doesn't
and then
matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
the
matter.
film does not take itself as seriously.
No, it
like,
doesn't.
Max damages his own car. Max, we're number 5.
Like it really is funny because the geography is all totally like whatever, but it's still you still feel like you're traveling with them to somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
you're going through these countries. I think it's funny that Professor Fates exactly looks like. I love the king. Can I just say that king?
Oh, Jack Lemmon plays it up when he plays the
Yeah,
prince. like,
it's Jack Lemmon.
and I grew up, got drunk, and fell off.
Like,
come on, Brandon.
Brandon! Oh, what kept you?
and then you know at the end,
You know, what's tucker in an old pasta? There the other paw is a slump of tucker.
No one wants to hear us quote
I
the
do.
films and mumble them. It's, all right.
but
Well, this was fun. It's in agreement. The Great Race is our favorite family film. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you found it interesting, put your favorite family films in the comments below, what you grew up with, and
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
you know, I don't say that.
Smash that subscribe button.
I don't say that because I don't like telling people what to do. If they
Do
want
it.
to, they will.
Do it or we'll murder you. Just like
that.
That's like I murdered Natalie. What? No. What?
You know what? Natalie Portman.
Yeah, it was me, Christopher Walken.
Thanks for watching, everybody. If you're interested in watching more clips from my old home videos, then you can watch it on my brother's music video, New York, and that is the song being played in the video. If you want, you can check it out, and I put the link to it in the description below. And as I said before, make sure you put what your favorite family film that you couldn't stop watching as a kid was. Thanks for watching. Bye.
And then we'll reveal it until we get number 1.
Hey, well, you're the host, so.
Are we looking at the camera?
No. We're looking at each other in this like.
Except for we're
Normally,
awkwardly.
Yeah, we can.
Hey, down there.
you know,
I mean, if you want to talk to the audience directly, you can turn to the camera.
normally you'd have
don't
another
walk my
camera
shop,
set up,
Nicole.
but
Yeah, normally you
Okay.
have another camera set up, but I can't. I don't have a crew. Okay, so
Is it on?
what?
Right now.
It's recording right now.
you better hope we're
You just got
recording.
into character, did you see him?
Yeah, he does that all the time when I'm interviewing. When I was doing the interview, every time I was like, okay, really?
Refer to me to
I'm not the nostalgia critic. I just sound like him.
I don't sound that much. Anyway.
Yes, yes.
Anyway,
All right, we're gonna start this.